Today's game will be in full 1080p glory and as background footage for what I'm speaking about. I think it is more fitting that way than any other game I would be able to show as background footage. So ladies and gentlemen, quite some time ago there was a Steam survey where they issued results talking about how around 33% of people on Steam only play their games in 1080p. That's true 1080p. That's 1920 by 1080. Got it, right? Progressive resolution, scan. Alright, it's been around forever. I think everyone knows what it means. I'm not going to go into details. Now, I am no PC master race, PC elitist. I've only gotten into PC gaming since around 2010. Since growing up, I was fairly poor, and I grew up from 1986 to like 2005-ish. You know, that's when I was 18 and able to go out and do my own thing and stuff like that. So I really didn't have access to things like AGP graphics cards growing up, the voodoo effects. I didn't. I just had integrated graphics. And while I have played several PC games over the years, I am way more I have a preference for consoles. But I love PC gaming. Don't get me wrong. I have like 600 Steam games, man. And I think the best thing about PC gaming is to be able to emulate the old consoles at a higher resolution, at a better frame rate. For the most part, there's some games that are somewhat difficult to do that with, like the games that require the Super FX chip, but with a little finagling, you can fix that. So what's my point? What am I talking about? And how the hell is there only a third of people, roughly, using 1080p? Like, that doesn't even make sense, right? You're like, what the fuck, man? 1080p is like the standard default resolution. Why the fuck are only a few people are using that default resolution? That don't make sense. Well, see, that's a blanket term, okay? That's a blanket statement. That would be like me saying, hey, only 1/3 of the world drinks water on a regular basis. It's like, well, you have to drink water to live. How can only 1/3 drink water? Well, because, sometimes they get their water sources from other things than just water. Maybe they mix it with juice. Maybe they drink lemonade. So that blanket statement of 1/3 of people only using 1080p is fairly innocuous. It's very hard to pin down and say, well, this is how we came to this result. So my best explanation for this is several things. One, a lot of laptops come with a basic resolution of 1360 by 768, and they do incorporate resolutions like 720p. Newer laptops are incorporating 1080p as the standard, but a lot of those laptops have integrated graphics. So once again, if people go to run their games such as Rocket League or League of Legends, they might not run them on full 1080p. The second thing is a lot of people don't have true 1080p monitors. A lot of them are still sticking with the older monitor resolution, 720p. So, hey man, even if people do have 1080p monitors, a lot of people also don't have graphics cards that can drive the true 1080p monitors as well. So it's, again, if you're looking to do the resolutions of like 1080p, you're going to need a comparable card that can do 1080p. A lot of PC gamers will rather sacrifice resolution, scale their games down to 720p, and get 60 frames a second instead of having 1080p at 30 frames a second. It's literally the exact opposite of consoles, and I've said this a million times, man. It is extremely difficult to go from Fallout 4 on the consoles to PC because it's so nice on PC, man. It's so fluid, and you can tweak the settings to make it just it's so good. And on consoles, you just can't. You're just gonna have to suffer with the dips into 20s, and that sucks, man. So that's another reason, matching hardware. Maybe some people still have some older graphics cards, and as these graphics cards age and you try to play newer titles, you're gonna have issues. Another big thing is the titles that people do play. Many indie developers do not incorporate 1080p. Many indie developers just incorporate whatever resolution they come with. And even some AAA developers force certain resolutions and don't update them until they patch them later on. Hence, well, if you can't change the resolution and you're stuck at playing 720p or even less 480p or something for whatever reason, then you're not playing at 1080p even if you have the capabilities of doing such. And that's pretty much it. I mean, not only that, choice is the biggest factor. At any point in time, someone can just choose to play at a different resolution for whatever reason. It doesn't mean that these individuals don't have the capacity to do such. It doesn't mean this is some kind of smoking gun saying, oh, well, holy shit, console gamers are 10 times better because look at this. All of these PC elitists can't even run their games at 1080p. It's actually just the simple fact that there is a lot of choice on the side of PC, and on console, it's a closed setting. Yeah, you can switch to 720 on consoles. A lot of the time, you can scale down your own resolution, and a lot of the time, you can mess with the color bitrate and depth, but that's about all you get for the video settings. When the PlayStation Neo comes out, maybe the Xbox Scorpio even, you might be able to tweak the settings a little bit on those consoles, but it's still primarily a closed environment. And closed environments are not generally favored for almost anyone. Have you ever heard the argument when people are talking about Apple is better for them because it's closed and it doesn't allow them to do what they personally want to do? Have you ever heard anyone say, I love Apple because it's a closed environment? I mean, at the very least, one of the best arguments you could make as a console gamer is to just say, well, I don't have to worry about viruses, but then again, that's incredibly stupid because if you play on PC and you just do everything legit and you stay away from shady links, you'll probably never ever get a virus. I know it's difficult, but growing up through the 80s and the 90s, seeing the phishing scams, seeing the shady links and what shady websites actually look like, for me personally, I have enough experience to stay away from that shit, but I could understand if someone younger doesn't. At the end of the day, it's crazy to think that people will sit here and talk all kinds of shit about PC gaming versus console gaming when it's all good. It doesn't matter. If I could emulate the consoles on my PC, am I a console gamer? I mean, am I PC gaming? I mean, I would feel that it's a hybrid of the two, and it's wonderful. It's the best time of my life. And the craziest thing is, when I was younger and I used to have old computers, like I had a Gateway with a Pentium 2, and then I had an HP with a Pentium 4. That's my old computers. And then I had another Dell with a Pentium 4. It's crazy because I used those machines to mostly emulate the Super Nintendo and Game Boy of the time. I know, right? And it's like, that's what I did with them. I had little to no power, man. I would play games like Might and Magic 7, Lords of Magic, and whatever graphics card they had with them, that's what they had. Diablo 2. So I didn't really have a big PC collection, and I missed out on a lot of cool PC games back in the day. And I'm really depressed that I did. So I got a text. Well, anyways, I guess that's my cue to go. Don't be ignorant. Don't be stupid. Don't be afraid of playing games on the PC. And don't miss out on them like me, because unfortunately, I just never had the chance, never had the money to really play good and comparable PC games at the resolutions and scales that they needed, because I never had a discrete graphics card. I never had a dedicated graphics card, which is a really big shame. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to talk about that crazy, weird thing that keeps getting thrown around. I see it a lot, even still today, where people are like, PC gamers, they can't run games. They're 1080. They're fucking stupid. Yeah, most PC gamers don't have 390Xs. Most PC gamers don't have 980 and 1080s. Most PC gamers don't spend $500 to $600 on graphics cards alone. Many PC gamers are into mid-tier cards, 750 Ti's, 960s, 970s, 1060s, 1070s, and maybe even 1050s. I really wouldn't want a 1050, but 1060 and 1070s are very comparable cards, and along with the RX 480 and RX 470 that have come out, these are very comparable cards. Mid-range cards around $200 is the magical sweet spot that people usually spend their money, and a $200 card doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be getting 1080p at 60 frames a second, especially on AMD side and even on Nvidia side. It really just depends on what CPU you match it up with, and how well you are willing to tweak the settings. There's arguments for both sides on which games and game systems are better. PC is going to be infinitely superior in every way, shape, or form, especially customizability, but there are arguments for those who desire to play console. Me personally, I always say just buy the damn console and buy a damn PC and have the best of both worlds. Don't invest a shitload into consoles, because once you get a PC and you have all those sales and humble bundles and GOG available to you, you'll probably never fucking want to spend $60 day one on a game release ever again. Ever. And it's nice to save that amount of money just for playing on PC platform versus a console. So yeah, again, I'm not shit talking console gamers. I'm really not. I'm not trying to shit on you guys. I'm just debunking the whole crazy rumor of how only 1/3 of people play on 1080p, PC gamers, and how the hell could you play at 4K? So, there you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have yourselves a great day. I've been yours, Protomario. I'm signing out. As always, good gaming. God bless.